There we go. Oh, I just remembered what's in this room. Oh, I don't like this. I do not like these things. Ow. Screw you. If the grubs is the best place in the game to be, this is the worst. No. Fudge it. Crud. I'm fine. I'm fine. God, I hate these things so much. I hate these things more than primal aspids. Oh, hey Mason, you're back. I'm glad we all agree that the Sporgs are one of the worst enemies in the game. They do 2 massive damage so early on, and they home in on you. And they respawn when you exit the room and then come back. They don't respawn when you rest at a bench. They respawn when you leave the room. At least the primal aspids stay dead until you rest at a bench. These guys, no, they don't have that courtesy. And all that for something that I can't use yet. Shroom Hate Association. I'm glad we are all in agreement. Oh god, there's more here. Okay, somehow I killed that one without setting it off. I'm not gonna question it. No! No. Okay. You know what? I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I think I'm done here. I'm going back now. Which enemy do you think is the worst? I'm still gonna go with the Sporgs, like I said. Those mushrooms that take way too many hits for how early on in the game are, and shoot homing projectiles at you that explode and do double damage. And also respawn when you leave the room. They just do not seem like they were scaled or balanced at all correctly for the game. Their only saving grace is that they're easy to avoid, because their projectiles are very slow, and you can also bait the projectiles back into themselves. But I do not understand why they have an enemy that can take so many hits and also does so much damage to you and respawns at such an early part of the game. I don't know why I was heading towards there. I'm going this way. Yeah, that's the worst of me. Primal Aspids can be really annoying. I don't understand why so many people hate Primal Aspids. They can be very annoying, and whenever I'm, like, in any sort of arena with Primal Aspids, they're usually my #1 target. I'm shooting them with my fireball right away, because they are very hard to dodge, but I think they're scaled well for the area they appear in. Their difficulty makes sense. Sporgs, I don't understand them at all. I don't think they're badly designed. I understand their design. I don't know why I'm going that way. Can't do anything that way. There's just a bestiary entry and some geo down there, and you have a spell I don't have to get to it. So, yeah. But I don't think the Sporgs are badly designed necessarily. I just think they're sort of bafflingly designed. Because they are easy to avoid, and, like, they sort of teach the player, be more careful, pay attention to the enemy projectiles, but still, it just seems baffling to have them act that way. I would at least not have them respawn when you leave the room. At the very least, I would change that, because getting through them is already difficult enough, especially for, like, somebody who might be playing for the first time or not that experienced in the game. So, I don't see why that progress should be erased when you leave the room and come back. You should be, like, rewarded for dealing with and figuring out how to deal with such a tricky enemy. That's literally one of my few complaints about the game is in relation to that enemy. Also the fact that the, like, having to get back your shade can be a bit of a slog and discourages, like, exploring. But, yeah. And also some of the Godmaster stuff is just way too bloated and difficult. But I'm not talking about criticisms of the game, I'm talking about criticisms about a particular enemy. So, yeah, that's the point. Yeah, this is the first time the shrooms have killed me like 4 times. I'm not surprised. They are... I think it would be fair if they didn't respawn until you reset a bench, like every other enemy that isn't a tiny creature that takes like 2 hits to kill, like a Vengefly. But those things take tons of hits to kill, and they can do 2 massive damage. I don't understand why they respawn when you... Anyway, hi, Leg Eater. Can't go after Hornet till we get the Mantis Claw. So, that's our next objective. Fighting this guy on top of that is really... is really annoying. Look, one Blast of Vengeful Spirit takes down one of those guys, who are supposed to be all big and bulky, but those things take that and like 2 nail hits. Why are they so bulky? Like, I can understand them being like tough to kill as sort of like teaching you, hey, try and like use your own attacks against them, or you have to be like careful, you can't go against them. I get that if that's what the game's like trying to teach you, but for them to be even tankier than like the tankiest enemies, they might be almost as hard to... They might have almost as health, or even more health than the Mantises, which is just ridiculous. Why are these annoying mushrooms... Why do the annoying mushrooms have almost as much health as trained warriors? No, actually, I don't think... I think they actually do have more health than the Mantises. They definitely have more health than the Mantis use. I can't remember how many shots it takes with, non-shaman-empowered, Vengeful Spirit to kill, a Mantis. By the way, there's a grub over here. They did not skip leg day. They don't have legs, Mason! That's what's infuriating about it. So we're spending 2 charges of soul to kill it? Yeah, it was in my opinion. There's actually a speedrunning skip you can use to get the Mantis Village early by using, this guy's Sports Room. And, like, you need to, like, pogo off it and the explosion and it'll knock you up there. It is nearly impossible to do. It's ridiculously tricky on current patch. It's ridiculously tricky on, like, the old version of the game, the old patch that speedrunners use, because it requires, like, seriously tight manipulation of hitboxes that's basically almost impossible to do. And on this version of the patch, it's still technically possible, but it's, like, even harder, so I'm not going to try and do that. I wouldn't know how to do it normally, much less on the current patch. And let's see, we should be near first Mantis now. Let's test that hypothesis about how bulky they are. They are bulkier than the Mantises. They are bulkier than trained adult warriors. The Mantises take one The Mantises take 1 unshaman stone empowered Vengeful Spirit and 1 nail hit to take down. Those freaking sporks, those mushrooms, they take a Vengeful Spirit and 2 nail hits. They have more health than the Mantises. Why? I can understand them being, like, bulky, and, like, nearly as bulky as the Mantises even, but why do they have more? I don't Oh, the mantises have skinny legs, Mason. Mason, you know you're just making fun of me. It's fair that you do that because I made fun of you and Gordon before, but